These are people that I think deserve a lot more attention. These are fragrance reviewers who are new and upcoming and starting to grow. Stay tuned. What's going on, my fellow fragrance friends? My name is Joshua, as you should know, and this is our channel, ScentSense. To my loyal subscribers who continue to grow each and every day, thank you so much. And to all you new people who are maybe on the fence and haven't decided if you want to jump on a board. Well, as of recently, we're hitting over 6,000 subscribers. So maybe, just maybe, those people aren't crazy. So maybe you should just, I don't know, have a pack mentality and follow the horde. Today we'll be talking about brand new or newer fragrance review channels that I love, that I watch, and these people are people that I talk to, maybe not all the time, but as much as I possibly can, because I want to invest in them as much as I was invested in. When I first started off my channel, there were very many people who invested in me. People like Brooklyn Fragrance Lover, ScentSense, Classy Scents, Joshua over at That Fragrance. There were people left and right who were willing to help me grow because I think and I honestly believe that they saw in me a true passion for fragrance. So, without any further ado, these are going to be 5 fragrance reviewers who have channels here on YouTube. These are people that I think are of like mind, and I'm trying to do exactly what was done for me. These won't be in any particular order. I'm just gonna run through them in the way that they just pop in my head. This is gonna be off the cuff. I haven't rehearsed this. I'm just gonna tell you how I feel about them. That way you know it's genuine. I'm gonna start off the list with a bang. I'm gonna start off the list with a buddy of mine from across the pond, my buddy Nigel, over at the channel 2 Cents Worth. If you haven't seen his channel, he sounds a little bit like this. Hello, my name's Nigel, and today we'll be talking about fragrances. I'm very passionate about fragrance. I love fragrances. I love my wife. I love my life. And I love my bloke, my mate, Josh, over at the channel ScentSense. Nigel, that was my best impression of you. It comes from the heart. Nigel is a really, really cool cat. He's very laid back, he's very honest, and he's very, very straightforward. He's going to talk about some fragrances that can range from dirt cheap to quite expensive, but everything he talks about, he's going to truly be passionate about. He's not going to give you any fluff. He's not going to just talk out of his butt to make you think that what he's talking about is cool, and he's not just going to talk about clickbait stuff because you know what, at the end of the day, he talks about what he's passionate about. I think as his channel continues to grow, more and more people are going to reach out to him and want to work with him, but as of now, he's continuing to grow. So why don't you go ahead and check out his channel 2 Cents Worth, maybe subscribe, maybe watch a couple videos, and I don't know, maybe you'll add him to your fragrance viewing rotation. Again, that's my buddy Nigel over at the channel 2 Cents Worth. Cheers, mate. Up next is a buddy of mine who's of the same name. His name is Josh, and he's over at the channel Smells Like. It seems like just yesterday, my buddy Josh was starting off his channel. One of his very first videos, he talked about fragrances that he was very passionate about, fragrances that would basically have built him as a fragrance person, a person who's into fragrances, and will continue to build him as a fragrance reviewer. And I find it very thought-provoking because it showed that he truly was passionate about what he was talking about. He brings a very knowledgeable perspective, he speaks very eloquently, and he's always greeting the camera with a smile. He also has this redonkulously big chair that looks like the Game of Thrones chair, and it has like a big, what looks like a polar bear skin draped across the top, and I swear if he was only wearing a crown, he would literally look like he was sitting on the Iron Throne. Which is hilarious because when I see him in that chair, I just picture him as an apothecary, you know, in Game of Thrones, like mixing scents for the Lannisters, like basically making Creed before Creed made Creed. Anyway, enough rambling. Go check out my buddy over at the channel Smells Like. His name is Josh, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Sliding in next is a female. She has a relatively new channel, and she continues to grow at a very rapid pace, and I think it has a lot to do with her presentation. It also doesn't hurt that she's really pretty. My wife's pretty too, I love her. And she has curly hair too, just like you, Andrea. Up next is my friend Andrea over at the channel Curly Scents. Andrea brings a very, very informed female perspective to male fragrances. I'm sure she's going to talk about some female fragrances too, but she's very, very eloquent in speaking about male fragrances, and I think she gives a perspective of this is what I think most females will feel about these fragrances. Most channels, when they start off, they've got to find themselves. The editing's not quite there. I know mine wasn't. The lighting's definitely not there. The camera quality, everything has to be built up. But Andrea hit the ground running. Thumbnails, editing, video quality, she gets all the checks. So if you're looking for a new channel, and for you guys out there, I know who you are. If you want somebody who's nice to look at, but also talks about fragrance, go check her out. But don't let that make you think that her opinion is not warranted. Just because she has a pretty face and a pretty smile doesn't mean she doesn't know fragrances. So finishing up, go check out my sis over at the channel Curly Scents, Andrea. Next up on the list is my buddy Dan over at the channel Scented Waters. Dan's a real cool cat. He hails from the sunny state of Florida. He's got a real cool vibe. He's got his own style, and that's one cool thing about him. He hasn't really copied anyone's style. He hasn't tried to be anyone that he's not. And one cool thing about him too is he's very passionate about fragrances, and he definitely invests into the fragrance community. If you watch any of his videos, you'll notice that he definitely talks about fragrances that you're not going to buy at Macy's or Dillard's. He talks about those too, but he's very passionate about fragrance brands that are basically born in the fragrance community. Brands such as Alexandria, Parfum Vintage, Byron Parfums, Imaginary Authors, and many, many more. Dan has a special level of authenticity. He reminds me a lot of myself when I was starting out with the fragrance game and starting out with making videos. I love Dan. He's a cool guy. You should definitely go check him out. Maybe drop him a subscription. If you like my channel, I'm pretty sure you'll like his. Go ahead and check out Dan over at Scented Waters. Next up is my buddy Lee over at the channel Lee Style and Fragrance. Lee is a really cool, suave cat. He reminds me of, if you've ever watched the movie, I think it's The Temptations, the guy who has the hat that dances and has like the really fast dance moves. He reminds me of him. He's got this really cool, suave demeanor. He's got great style. He's got great fashion sense. He's actually got a lot more than just fragrances when it comes to his channel. So if you're looking for a complete channel, kind of like Jeff the Style OG, then you should go check him out for sure. Lee Style and Fragrances. And if you have checked him out already, you already know. That was my attempt at his little thing that he does. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lee. I'm not as cool as you, bro. I know I said 5, but I'm going to throw one more in. And mainly I haven't mentioned her before because she hasn't been very active. But it's my sister from another mister. That's Emmy over the channel Emmy Ever After. Emmy is yet another female fragrance reviewer. She has a very laid back, almost like yoga chick vibe to her. Like, I feel like Emmy would really shop at Whole Foods and probably wears lots of yoga pants and is in a spin class. There's nothing wrong with that. Sister keeps in shape. She's actually the reason why I went and got Oud Wood. She ranted and raved about it, and I gotta say, she was right. She's done a lot of work with companies such as FragranceNet already, so she's starting to grow very fast. Currently, I think her channel's on a hiatus. Hopefully, we see more of her soon. So, go check her out. Go maybe watch some of her older videos. And if you're a guy, get your girl to watch it, because I'm sure she'll watch it and she'll love a lot of her perspectives on female fragrances. And if you're a girl and you're looking for some female fragrances for yourself, check her out. And if you're a guy, she talks about some male fragrances that really work for her. And if a fragrance really pushes her buttons, I'm sure it'll push your ladies' buttons. Or your guys' buttons if you're into that. Alright, ladies and germs, this video has been long enough. These are people that I think will definitely get you a different perspective and a new and fresh perspective on fragrances. These are people who are just starting out, and everybody needs love. So why don't you go ahead and go to those channels, check them out. I'll leave them in the description below. They need the love. They deserve the love. Go ahead and check them out, because you know what? ScentSense told you so. And as my buddy Joshua used to always say, I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. And you guys know how this always ends. I'll smell you later. Peace!